Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the Aston Villa versus Fulham game tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Obviously Villa on the back of beating Bologna, first win of the season. Obviously wasn't a great performance overall, but we needed that win. We got that win, and then hopefully now that can build confidence for Sunday's game. It will be a general chat about just Villa in general, because obviously I haven't uploaded in a while. So obviously, yeah, as I said, first win, 1-0 against Bologna on Thursday night. Like I said, didn't play particularly well. It wasn't the Villa we've come to expect from a Unai Emery team over the past 2.5, 3 years. But it was a win that we desperately needed, and we got. And to be fair, I did expect that we'd win the game. I just think Emery in Europe, and especially the way we play football, is probably more suited to European football with how slow it is. I thought the standouts in that game were probably Torres, Kamara and Bizot. I think Bizot made some good saves, decent at playing out from the back. The build-up doesn't really change with him in goal, whereas when Olsen was back up, it kind of did. We kind of had to go more long a little bit, because Olsen wasn't comfortable playing like that. I thought Torres, we did go a bit more with a high line, not as high as it has been, or it was in the 23-24 season when we got Champions League football, but we went with a high line, a bit more of a high line again, and I thought Torres played really well. I thought he was good on the ball, and he gives us something more, building from the back and starting attacks, especially when we're not creating anything. It just gives us something more than Mings, but then Mings gives us something more in the air. So that'll be an interesting sort of dynamic, which player he picks for Fulham, because obviously Mings offers good defensive work, good in the air, but then Torres offers something going forward, which with how we've been, we desperately need at the moment. I thought Kamara was very good. Odd few passes which he gave away, but I do think overall he did look like the best Kamara, Kamara that's good. I think we've seen that more of that in midweek. Made some good passes, controlled the midfield. And yeah, and then obviously Ian Maatsen as well. I thought he played really well, and I think, to be honest, it is time for him to start now. I know start on a regular basis. Sorry, I know Luca Dean has been good for us. He's been experienced. He's stepped up to the plate when we've needed him to. When it's looked like over even the past 3 windows, it looked like he was going to be moved on. He stepped up, but he's probably lost another yard of pace. And I just think it is time. A bit similar to Kirkes and Robertson. Robertson's a great player, but Kirkes is just better. And I think Maatsen just needs a run in the team now instead of being in and out, because I think that's what causes Maatsen to have inconsistent performances, because he's in and then he's out. And I think Emery needs to get better at that in general. I think the way we're rotating at the moment, if you look at who we played, the starting lineup, or some aspects of the starting lineup against Bologna should be starting every week. For example, Torres, for example, Maatsen, players like that, they need a run. If they don't get a run in the team, they're never going to find consistency. So I hope that Maatsen and Torres start. But to be honest, I think I'll go with the tried and trusted. I think I'll go with Dean. I think I'll go with Mings again. I think we'll probably beat Fulham, because our record against them is very good, and they just never seem to turn up against us, despite being a very good team and an established top half team. Whenever they come to Villa Park, they never seem to turn up. I've probably jinxed it now by saying that, but I just think we'll win regardless of who's playing, within reason, obviously. So yeah, the Bologna performance, as I said, it wasn't great. It wasn't perfect, but I don't think you can expect perfect when we've been absolutely abysmal so far this season. But yeah, we won 1-0. Some good performances, some bad bits. McGinn obviously got the goal, but I think his overall performance was okay. He gave the ball away a few times, but other times he actually looked okay. But I think that's what we are at the moment. We're just okay. And I think it's going to be incremental improvement every game. And when we might not see a proper Villa Emery performance for a while, because I think the confidence, for a multitude of reasons, is just so low that we need to build that back up again. And hopefully we can do that tomorrow with any sort of win against Fulham. And then obviously we're on to Feyenoord, the stadium where we won the European Cup in 1982 against Bayern. And then we've got Burnley, which obviously Feyenoord's a tough game. I'd be happy with a point there, but we have to be beating Fulham tomorrow, and we have to be beating Burnley. It's as simple as that. We have to win these games to not only improve the form, but because how bad we've been, and because the games we've got after, we've got after the next international break, we've got Spurs away, we've got a European game, we've got Manchester City, we've got Liverpool. We desperately need to get 6 points from these next 2 games. Obviously, Rodgers, huge talking point at the moment for Villa, absolutely abysmal. Obviously, they all have been, but the fall off from Morgan Rodgers compared to last season. Obviously, last season, PFA Young Player of the Year. But this season, he's been absolutely dreadful. I mean, he's gone from being one of our best players to someone that can barely kick a ball, wrong decision-making, passing when he should shoot, shooting when he should pass. Just so many things wrong with Rodgers at the moment. And it seems like Emery's trying to play him through it. But I do think there's going to come a point where he has to drop him because of the fan criticism. And obviously there was a sarcastic cheer when he finally made a pass, which I think was warranted at the time. And I get why Villa fans do it, but I also get the frustration and get why people are annoyed at that, because that's sort of something we do when we were struggling every year. And although it's been a bad season, a bad start to the season, sorry, I don't really think that should be the approach to things, because he is a good player. He can be fantastic. At the moment, he's absolutely awful, and I do think he might have to be dropped at some point. And I do want to see Elliott get more minutes. Then maybe that is the way that Elliott gets more minutes. So, yeah, Fulham tomorrow. I think we'll win. Probably a tight 1-0. I think the front three off Watkins will probably be Rodgers, Elliott and Buendia. I just don't see him dropping Rodgers. I think at some point he might have to, but I don't think he'll drop Rodgers for tomorrow, especially given his comments after Bologna, where he basically said he has to play through it. He has to learn from the experience of the negative reaction, which could go one or two ways. It could push him on to do better, or it could make his confidence even worse and therefore make his performances even worse. So, yeah, I think it'll be Elliott off the right, Rodgers in behind, and then Buendia left 10, Watkins up front. Watkins, again, another talking point. I think that, he hasn't been great either, although I will say the service to him hasn't been great. But then the last 2 games, he's had the header, which any sort of contact is in the back of the net. We beat Sunderland. And then the penalty, which would have made it a lot more comfortable against Bologna, despite the performance not being the best. So, yeah, I think he just needs a goal. Same Watkins every year. He usually starts slow, to be honest. But once he gets that goal, he's usually okay. But then we'll have to see, because, with his age, he might just be on a decline, and he's not going to be able to start slow and get a goal and be okay every season because of his age. It's just not going to be able to happen. But yeah, the penalty was terrible. We don't seem to have any good penalty takers, which is obviously a problem. I mean, we had El Ghazi, he left. We had Louise, he's obviously gone. And I don't feel confident with anyone stepping up to the penalty spot at the moment. And the only reason Watkins takes him is because he's the striker. It's not because he's particularly good at penalties, because he's took 8. The last 8 that he's taken, he's missed 4 of them. So, he's not that great at penalties. So, yeah, I think the back 4 will be Martinez if he's fit, Cash, Konsa, Mings and Luca Dean, I think. And then, obviously, McGinn and Kamara, because Onana and Barkley and Tielemans are still injured. I think it'll be Watkins, Elliott, Rodgers, Buendia. And yeah, I think that'll be the lineup. I think we'll win. We've got to win. And yeah, hopefully we can start to turn the corner, not just with wins, but with good performances up the Villa.